Hello everybody and welcome to VFR. Today we are here at Washington Reagan National Airport, KDCA, and we are taking our trusty little Twin Otter out on a short commuter hop down to Charlottesville, Virginia. That's KCHO. We're here at DCA surrounded by big jets, so that ought to be fun, and we're taking out the American Eagle livery today. So we'll be doing a little bit of flying under the Appalachian call sign. We'll be Appalachian 303 today. Wheels up should be in about 20 minutes, and we will see what the rest of. It's a pretty fairly busy day on the ground here at Washington National. So let's hop into the cockpit and get situated. We have some new things I'm working on the side. Some new controls that I'm going to work on working the radios with. But let's tune up frequency and figure it out. DCA, we got ground, tower, and ATIS. So ATIS is 132.65. So let's go com 1, 132.65. Doesn't sound like we're going to get it, so let's go text form. DCA ATIS information kilo. Wind 150 at 5 knots. Visibility 10 surface miles. Scattered clouds at 25,000. Looks like we're landing and departing runways 19, 15, and 22. And that is just about it. Altimeter 3030. So let's punch that in. 3030. We got it. Okay. So we're all set up there. ATIS looks okay. Let's tune in tower. Or let's tune in ground. 121.7. 1.7. I always find it helpful to take a look around too. So we have that big UPS taxiing out for departure. And model matching's putting in a lot of Alaskas.
UPS 1522, cross runway 15 at Juliet. On the air side, contact tower 109.1. Have a great flight.
So we got a smaller
cross runway 15 at Juliet, on the other side over to tower 119.1. UPS 1522, have a great evening, bye-bye.
Alright, so as usual, let's get started with our checks. We have parking brake is set and out. Emergency fuel switches are on normal. Radios are on because we're on external power. Cabin lights are okay for now. Pitot heat is off, so are the generators. Flaps are up. Prop levers, we can go full forward. Ignition switch is in normal.
As a short script on fixed seat, always going to be stepping away for a moment to eat some dinner. We're going to have Delays Tower cover our frequencies while we're gone.
Alright, so tower's going to cover for them. That's fine. We can put on our position lights now.
Attention all aircraft, this is Washington Tower. I'll be transmitting on 2 frequencies. UPS 1522,
so
fly runway heading, wind 190 at runway 19, clear
790, 800 pounds in both tanks. Flight plan, we're going to see what they give us, because we're planning on going out direct. I don't know what departure we're going to get, if we get a departure at all. So we will just get ready to be started, and yeah, there's actually not much more to do. So we will go ahead and call, I guess, tower now for our departure. We can put on fasten seatbelt signs too, and no smoking.
Brickyard 786. Did you have clearance yet?
Negative.
Brickyard 786 cleared to the Boston Airport. Suki 5 departure Swan transition, then is filed. Climb via SID. Departure frequencies offline. Squawk 2146.
Brickyard 786 is cleared to Boston via the Suki 5 departure, Swan transition, then as filed, climb via SEDS, expect flight level 370, departure frequency is offline and squawk 2146.
Reback correct, advise when ready to push, and ACE information, Lima is current.
They're going to... Lima, it sounds like. Let's just check that out.
EPS 1522, departures offline, continues filed, change advisory frequency approved, good day.
3030. Okay, so not much change. 190 at 6. Washington Tower, Appalachian 303 is we're type Twin Otter with information Lima, looking to pick up our IFR to Charlottesville. We can always tune in tower as a backup. I don't know if they're listening on this frequency. Washington Tower, Appalachian 303, radio check. Alright, we'll try and hit him up on tower. Washington Tower, Appalachian 303. We're type Twin Otter with information Lima. We're looking to pick up our IFR to Charlottesville. Let's see. Am I getting anything here? It doesn't look like it, actually. Testing.
Brickyard 786, push back onto Kilo approved, face north. Delta 1190, Washington Tower. Delta 1190, Washington Tower.
So when in doubt, you can always just try recycling vPilot. We're filed, and let's see if it's coming through. Now, there it is. Okay, we'll try that. So, ground 127, 121.7. Washington Tower, Appalachian 303, radio check.
Appalachian 303, Washington Tower, 5x5, how many?
Washington Tower, Appalachian 303. We're type Twin Otter with information Lima, looking to pick up our IFR to Charlottesville.
Appalachian 303, clearance on request, stand by.
Standing by, Appalachian 303.
Appalachian 303, do you have charts for the airport?
Affirmative.
Washington Appalachian Tower, Brickyard 76, ready for taxi.
Brickyard 76, verify mode Charlie for me, sir.
We better get our charts. They're going to give us a doozy here. Going to give us a doozy. And I did file basically direct out to a VOR out over Winchester, which is a ways to the west. I haven't dug through the charts to find what you actually do for a turboprop, but I know it's not JDub, which is what SimBrief was giving me. So we'll see what they give us. I mean, I'll do my best to research it, but even if just as long as you can look up the charts and do what they tell you, it's just good to be flexible at this point. Something good to practice too. If we're, it's always good to practice making sure that.
Appalachian 303, clearance available. Advise I'm ready to copy.
We're ready to copy Appalachian 303.
Appalachian 303, cleared to Charlottesville. National 1 departure, radar vectors Casanova VOR, then as filed. Maintain 5,000, expect 10,000 and 10. Departure frequencies offline, squawk 2130.
Cleared to Charlottesville via the National 1 departure radar vectors Casanova. We'll maintain 5,000 on departure, expecting 10,000 10 minutes after departure, and squawking 2130. Appalachian 303.
Appalachian 303, read back correct. You can push back where you are as long as it's not onto the taxiway, and you can call me for taxi.
Roger that. We'll keep it off the taxiway and call you for taxi, Appalachian 303.
Brickyard 786, runway 19er, taxi via Kilo, cross runway 15 at Kilo.
Taxi to runway 19er via Kilo, cross 15 at Kilo, Brickyard 76.
Oops, wrong one. 2130. And then we will go ahead and turn that on. Turn it on as we'll squawk mode Charlie. So let's plug this in. I haven't plugged this in yet. And this will be a little bit of boring fun. So we are at KDCA.
Brickyard 786, once you cross runway 15, depending on your scenery, if it's easier, you can join right on Juliet.
Casanova, we're going off the national.
Roger, after crossing 15, we'll see if we can
departure.
join Juliet, Brickyard 76.
Well, I have the national 8, but whatever. So we're going to be shooting off to the, well, let's see. We're going to be going to the Casanova VOR, that's CSN. Charlie Sierra November. And this should be a fairly straightforward.
Brickyard 786, fly runway heading, wind 190 at 6, runway 19er, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, runway 19er, fly runway heading, Brickyard 786.
And is it going to go? We're in K6, that makes sense. Casanova, and then as filed, which is going to be Hood. What's going to be a Hood? HOODE. And you don't really appreciate an FMS until you're doing this on the ramp. But it's fine for the simple routes we're going to do. HODE. That looks pretty good. And then I think that takes us down to KCHO. Charlottesville. All right, so that is our flight plan. Now let's punch in. We're going to just need to do radar vectors off the runway. The important thing about the National 1 runway, we're probably taking off, it looks like 19. So we will climb to 5,000 feet. And at that point, we will, let me pull up the charts here, National 8. And airport diagram for DCA. We'll take off 19. We're going to be taking off towards... we'll be taking off towards the south.
Departures offline, continues file, change advisory frequency approved, good day.
First Unicom and continuous filed, Bricker 76, good day.
To push. So let's get pushback helper up. And get our tug ready. So, looks like we are all ready to go. Route is in. We can plug in the departure here, even though it's just going to be basically flying. It's going to be fairly simple. We're going to be flying, heading off the runway. The National, there's National 8. Transition is none. I almost worry, and it's so simple, I almost worry about putting it in here because I don't want to screw anything up, but we'll be hand flying off the runway, especially around DCA. See, it's just to a user waypoint. It's not even really anything. And then they're going to vector us over to Casanova. All right, so we got the tug ready to go. Let's take a look at our, before takeoff, or our engine start checklist real quick. We can turn our beacons on. And we'll just go ahead and turn the boost pumps on now as well. All right, so jumping outside the cockpit real quick to cheat a little. We're basically just going to push, we'll push back just a little bit to where in that, kind of in that big freight spot because no one's there. And we're a small plane, so we just need a little bit of space to do our thing. That'll be perfect. Thank you, Tug. So, start switch. Let's engage right. And I haven't heard the new sounds yet. So that'll be good to try out. And if volume sucks, let me know, because I, again, haven't tried it out. So we got 10%. It's pretty good. And we can give it some fuel. Oops, wrong fuel. We'll give it some fuel. And we got left engine now. And that's 15%. We'll introduce some fuel and start switch back to the center position. Now, one last check, make sure all doors are closed. Engines are running. We're good. After start checklist, power levers to idle. Generators can go on. We want our engine in limits. Looks like it's in the green. Caution lights are set okay. Altimeter 30. We're still at 30 as far as Lima's concerned. Our nav aids. We could program in that Casanova VOR at this point. That would be an intelligent thing to do. So Casanova is going to be 116.3. So if we come over to our nav, 116.3.
Question Grand's back.
So 116.3, and then again, they'll be radar vectoring us to it. I'm anticipating 19, but for our purposes, it does not matter a whole heck of a lot which way they send us. So altimeter set nav aids are programmed, or we are lit up. We will go ahead and turn on taxi lights and get ready for taxi. Or taxi brakes on, taxi lights on, yep, and we will get our taxi clearance. And again, I always like to just pull up the chart while I ask for this. But not even really, maybe that's a bad idea, because all I'm doing is writing down what they say. I'm not thinking through it right now. We're just going through what they say. So, Make sure we're still in the right
Echo Charlie
frequency.
121 requesting IFR clearance to be Kilo Bravo Oscar Sierra.
Bravo Oscar Sierra. Oh, Boston.
Echo Charlie 121, Washington ground, good evening. Current to Boston is on request number 1, stand by.
How's that, thank you.
Washington ground, Appalachian 303. We're ready for taxi.
Appalachian 303, runway 19, taxi via Gulf, Juliet, hold short runway 15 at Juliet.
All right, we'll taxi to runway 19 via Gulf. Juliet holds short runway 15 at Juliet, Appalachian 303. All right, so now at that point, write down what they say and look at the chart. So we are back by gates 1 through 19, and if I have it handy, let's see if I do. No, not particularly. Okay, so we are heading out to, what'd they say, Gulf, Juliet. So where is Gulf? So Gulf is basically going to be right behind us. There's this kind of complex here, right by the yellow, poorly model matched Airbus of some kind. So that is, so that little complex. Gulf 1 is kind of the high speed coming. No. Yeah, so Gulf 1 is kind of the high speed here. You can see Gulf here on the floor there. Juliet is going to be this kind of run. So basically there's two taxiways. The one furthest from us is Juliet, and the one closest to us is Kilo. So we'll slot in behind him and get ready to roll. Just giving it a little power. Standing on the brakes too. As we swing it around, and I'm going to cheat a little bit and try and find Gulf so I don't get in too many people's way. So we're basically following him down to runway 1.
Croatian Airlines 223, requesting IFR clearance to Kilo Bravo Oscar Sierra.
Operation 223, Washington ground, good evening. Chris on request number 2, stand by.
Alright, we are away, and only really 15 minutes after I aimed to do so. I had a lot of trouble figuring out what route to do. There's a few older airlines that ran Twin Otters in the U.S., but not a lot of them are really well documented, at least from what I've seen. At least, and by well documented I mean, are it's obvious where they flew on Wikipedia with Twin Otters. So that's not obvious. So we do have a hold short at 1-5 at Juliet, so let's just keep an eye out for a 1-5 as we're driving and talking. And it's going to be this big line here, marked hopefully in red. So holding short, 1-5. They're going to send us just straight across.
303, cross runway 15 at Juliet. On the other side, contact tower 119.1. Have a great flight.
All right, we'll cross 15 at Juliet and go to tower on the other side. Thanks, Appalachian 303. Saying you too. All right.
Last unit, you're unreadable.
So let's get a bit some oomph to get across, but you see Washington Monument out there. That's why I really love this airport. It's just good fun. One of the most scenic ones you can get out here, and it's just such a unique setup too. Such a unique area. and configuration for an American airport. I think you see a lot more of these in Europe. Make sure I'm on the right one. Washington Tower, Appalachian 303.
Appalachian 303, Washington Tower, runway 19, line up and wait, departing 737.
Line up and wait, runway 19, Appalachian 303. We'll pull up here. I could have inferred a continued taxi by Juliet, but we're not going to do that. All right. So we're going to wait for the 737 departing. That let's give us a little time to put our trim in order. We're not going to worry about flaps. Our flight instruments are checked.
Washington Tower, Endeavour 3455.
Radios are set. We're just going to maintain runway heading on
Washington Tower.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. We're over Baltimore here
Departing
at
out to the south.
10,250. Just
Basically
wondering what approach we
185
can expect there in
until
Washington.
they vector us over to
Currently,
Casanova.
we're running the River Visual 19er.
Okay, can we request the standby?
And one thing we can do while we're waiting is bug the heading.
Can we expect the request RNAV 19?
Yes, sir. That's fine. There's no approach online, so I can't clear you for an approach. But we're landing 19, so dealer's choice.
Okay, appreciate it.
Anytime.
All right, we'll get one knock of flaps. Engines are looking okay. We can put pitot heat on. We're not going to use anti-ice yet. Actually, seeing those clouds. We'll put on anti-ice now. And we'll just put on the other thing is window heat. So we can see.
Appalachia 303 on departure flight heading 205, wind 190 at 6, runway 19, clear for takeoff.
Flighting 205 on departure, runway 19 clear for takeoff, Appalachian 303. And away we go. 205 is going to be the heading, and we're going to be climbing up to an altitude of 5,000 feet. I need to work that into the chart. I do like to bug the altitude too, just so you know, hey, this is an altitude you should go to. We're setting about 40 inches of manifold pressure, 80 knots, and we're, oops, and overstressed the aircraft. So that's not great. What happened? Must have been flaps. Well, we'll disconnect and get out of everybody's way. That's not a great start to the night. Well, thanks for coming along, everybody. That was a dumb way to start our flight. But hey, it happens. Well, we'll try it again. Well, we might try it in the air. I'm going to start us off in the air, but the one thing we're going to do for I can't even remember where it is. Stand by while we set all this up. All right, so we're back. I'm not sure what happened there. We'll have to watch it back. I'm sure I did something wrong. I think I got too fast on departure, but that will happen. So I've respawned us up in the air, and we're going to fly the rest of the way to Charlottesville, and we might hit it back into D.C. as long as if people are still online, we might head back into D.C. So I'm just going to establish at our cruising altitude of 10,000 feet, which is right in this icing layer. So let's get windshield heat on, and do that. And yeah, so the rest of that is just about good. Should like come on. So 10,000 feet like nothing happened. And let's see where we are on the map of where I just popped back into life. Good. Okay, so we're a little ways south. That's fine. We'll go ahead and reconnect now to VetSim and go 1228. We'll have to send the rescue crew out for us. So thanks for coming along on another adventurous VFR flight down to Charlottesville in the Twin Otter. I haven't had a perfect Twin Otter flight yet. Sometimes, I mean, Flagstaff, when we hit some issues with the... did they reverse the trim axes? I guess they did. We had some issues with the GPS and autopilot system. Everything's pretty well fixed at this point, I think. As far as the big stuff, I mean, you can track outbound radials now, and the sounds are much better to my ears, and I am enjoying it. It's good for these kind of short hour commuter flights. So let's punch in our flight plan again. We can go to C. S. N. Charlie, Sierra, November. And it's going to take some time to think about that one, but it is here in the U.S. I really want that below it. So let's get one thing at a time configured for autopilot. Now we're going to altitude hold, and we want to hold at about 10,000 feet. And our vertical speed, it would be good if we had more than negative 1,800. But really, what we can do now is just kind of set it with our vertical speed, and then as far as our heading, we can set the heading bug. Straight ahead, so where we're going to enter a stall. So let's add some power. Take the nose down, add some power, and get resituated a little bit here. Let's level off, gain some speed, and then I'll muck around with this. So we need to go to CSN, and then it's going to be hood, H O O D E, which should be in the United States, and then CSO. And then let's go direct to CSN. that'll go. No, we don't want it. And activate. All right. Now we can go on over to nav mode and let it get us over to Hood or to CSN Casanova. And we're out on Unicom right now, but if we want some ambiance, we can tune up Tower 2. Radios, we'll put it on Com 2. And what was that? 1191. They probably think we are goners. But that is all right. And then over here we need to go to Unicom 122.8. And the last thing, and that always gets me with this unit, is hitting it over into GPS mode. Okay, so we are now all configured and turning on to our target now. Let's get the last thing set up we need to get set up, and that's going to be climbing. I am trying out the new, I got a Stream Deck recently that I'm trying out my autopilot controls on. I'm just trying to get it right, although now it's going to yell at me. And then I want to go vertical speed. And hopefully this time it doesn't stall out the airplane. We'll start it out nice and slow at 500. Out to Casanova. All right. So we're back on track, roughly, or semi on track. Thanks for sticking around if you've been watching this whole time. And welcome to VFR. This is our weeknight flights. We're trying to do some more VATSIM stuff more regularly because it helps me just stay current and stay in the mode of working with approach. And man, that was good. We did really well on on our pre-departure portion today. So that's a frustrating crash on departure. Always the worst time to have it happen. I had so many of those with aircraft stressing in the CRJ. You get a little too fast and it triggers it, and yeah, it's unforgiving. Rafa, if I'm saying your name correctly, thanks. Yeah, it was fun to make. It's fun to kind of explore those places. He says, really enjoyed your Yellowstone video, and yeah, it's good fun to explore those kinds of places, but I find that when I'm just looking at them on SkyVector on a map, I don't know very much about them. And it's hard to get invested in exploring a place you don't know much about, and it's, I don't know, I kind of like digging a little bit deeper into some of these places. We're pretty stable now. We can tick it up into 1,000 feet per minute and give it just a touch more power. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of places I think you could do something like that. I mean, around here, if they ever fix BWI around here, would be a good one for more airliner focused. All the national parks make pretty good candidates. Alright, so we are back, and we are on our way down to Charlottesville. I'm just going to make sure that my flight plan is really on file. After our little misadventure. And there we are on the map. Okay. So we are on our way. We are Appalachian 303 today, which is going to be the regional arm of whatever it is we're doing here. We're getting a little slow. I can give it a little more power at this point. Make sure flaps are all the way up. They are. And we've got de-icing on as well. So yeah, Appalachian's going to, it's the regional arm of whatever VFR flies commercially. It's good fun. It is an actual ICAO code for the Appalachian Flying Service, which, as far as I can tell, has no web presence, whatever they are or are not or are doing. Sounds like a cool thing, but yeah, not even a Facebook page. Or I think there is a Facebook page from like 2015. And of course, we departed out of Washington National Airport, KDCA, heading down to Charlottesville on the kind of outer edge of the Shenandoah Valley. After that, we will see. We might continue on down to some of the places in the Carolinas. We may just reload and come out of Atlanta, go somewhere like Asheville. Asheville's fun, but you got to be careful of the new runway, which I don't believe is in Microsoft Flight Simulator unless they added it. Really nice big low clouds too. Good fun to fly through. We are well on our way. So we're inbound to the Casanova VOR. And if we go back out to the nav map, we're going to make a left-hand turn at Casanova and head to Hood, which is a GPS waypoint, and then we'll be basically flying into Charlottesville. It's going to be effectively untowered today, because we should be, I believe, the only ones flying into it. Now, this is a good distance. It's probably about a 3-hour drive from DC, or 3.5 hours. So if you were in you really didn't want to do that, you could fly in a Twin Otter. It'd be fun. So we may try to do more stuff, there are a couple of smaller Twin Otter airlines out there that flew routes kind of in the U.S. There are a few still, Grand Canyon Airlines like we did in Why You Should Fly. Still flies Twin Otters. But there were several commuters, especially in the northeast and eastern U.S., which just tends to be pretty populated in VATSIM from here this time of day. But I mean, there's a lot of one that you could do, and that's one of the really fun things about the Twin Otter that I'm enjoying. We're about 15 miles to the Casanova VOR. We can double check that here because we've got we've got the VOR tuned in as well here. 15 miles. It's matching up pretty well. Engines are looking okay. We have fuel. And we are level at 10,000 feet, so no autopilot funny business. Either we're going to bring the prop RPM back a little bit now and just kind of enter into a cruise configuration. And we've got a pretty nasty wind working against us. Our ground speed's only 120 knots right now. We're at 10,000, and we're pretty truly IFR at this point, too. So now's a good time to start thinking about Charlottesville. So KCHO. We load that up in Charlotte Fox. It's a pretty simple airport. One runway. It's runway 21 or runway 3. I think SimBrief has us coming in 3, but we may come in. I think 21's going to be the way to go. I don't know what the weather is like there, but let's take a look. Come down to airport, KCHO, Charlottesville Albemarle Airport, elevation 640 feet. METAR is saying no wind there. It's under 3025. So we're coming in from this way anyway, so we might as well land south 210 because we'll be kind of coming from the north. I figure we might just make straight in. It just depends if for some reason anyone comes in. They do have RNAV approach that we could fly. RNAV for runway 21. We could fly the Yankee or the Zulu. I think we'll fly the RNAV Yankee into 2-1. Just for a little bit of fun. Leave seatbelt signs on. I think this is all good, except I'd like pitot heat on. And that's just about fine. You can see the ice on the windshield wipers. Let's see if we got it on the nose too here. It doesn't look like it. But definitely on the windshield wipers. Got that on. But our windshield heat is on, so we can see. Let's give it a little more power because we're only making 117 knots right now. But if we want to make the return trip up, that would be, hopefully we'd get a little bit of a benefit. And so while we're just sitting around here, we can go ahead and add procedures. We're not going to have an arrival, but we will have an approach. And our approach into Charlottesville will be, we will do the RNAV 2-1 Yankee. Transition, does he give us a choice? We can have Widow or Widow, so let's take Widow. And we're not ready to activate yet. But no, it's ready, and it adds a few waypoints down here for us to fly into. So we are good and configured and cruising, and yeah, I don't find the engine sounds as oppressive. This is good. This is good. Let's check out the back of the airplane. It is kind of a dumb thing, but I do like having the whole cabin that you can run through. I don't know how much it adds, but I can simulate sitting in the passenger seat in empty Twin Otter. Whole lot to see outside right now. But yeah, it's just a good size. It's a good fun size to take to these kind of one runway airports. Not that you couldn't fly a CRJ or something into Charlottesville, which we may well do here in the future. Yeah, we'll be looking for some more VATSIM routes to do, both with the Twin Otter and with CRJ. CRJ is easier to fly, kind of VATSIM IFR, but you could do it in the Twin Otter too. Twin Twin Otter, you just got to be careful. I mean, you're not, and any GA airplane, you can do it. You're just not going to set your you're not going to program your FMS and then just set and forget it. You might set your autopilot and forget it, but you just got to be ready to take control of the airplane. And that goes for every airplane, the CRJ, 737, but those planes generally have a lot. Seems like they handle those situations better in these kind of IFR situations, whereas these GA planes, you might screw something up, something might get all turned around. And it is just better to take, it is just much better to take control yourself a lot of the time, especially on departure. And we are cruising along. I might let's see if we can dip down a little bit. We are approaching towards the mountains, so I don't want to dip down too much, but it isn't that high. Our highest peaks really are 4,500, so we could go down to 8,000 feet. Let's see if we can jump down to 8,000 feet, get out of the soup a little bit. Let's hit our autopilot and ask for an altitude of 10,000 feet. And then vertical speed, negative 500. And as we turn further south, we're making a little bit better pace. We're up to 136 knots ground speed. We were crawling for a while. Let's drop down a little bit and see if we can get some better views. And we are still on Unicom 122.8. And let's just do a quick VAT spy check and see what all is around us. Out past Charlottesville, we've got a few airplanes flying around. We have a Cirrus at 8,000 feet flying down to Asheville. We have what looks like a Challenger private jet, 31,000 feet. He's descending into DCA. And then we have a Delta A321 heading out to Atlanta. That's Delta 1219. We are here, and that's really it for us right now here in DC. Washington Center is offline. Let's pull back on the power just a little bit and help it out. As we descend for 8,000 feet. So yeah, we've just been riding the bottom of this cloud layer. It's a big, thick cloud layer here. And it's not bad in the Twin Otter. You can fly into icing conditions much worse than these. Or windshield wipers are a little frosty, but we're nice and warm in here. One of the nice things about the Twin Otter, you're not getting scared of this. And we're descending now 8,600. Just keep an eye on that in case we have to take control. And then let's see. We can pick up. Alright, so I think I got the charts situated. Now, Charlottesville is going to be fairly straightforward in terms of approach. We're taking the RNAV Yankee for runway 21 into Charlottesville Albemarle Airport. Now, when our local altimeter setting not received, we can use Stanton, Waynesboro, Harrisonburg. That's all fine. So we're going to be coming in here at Whittow. We could hold there if we needed to. We shouldn't have to. We're the only people going into Charlottesville today. And then we'll basically hit, we'll be coming in at 4,300 at Whittow and then descending down basically to the runway. It's pretty simple. Charlottesville, Simple Airport. We got 2-1 and runway 3. And then we have hangars and a small terminal here off to the side. Very simple airport. We're coming in on 2-1. We'll basically make a straight in because, again, winds are reported as calm at Charlottesville. I don't know how much we believe that, because we had a decent wind at DCA. I guess it wasn't horrible. 190 at 6. So we will see. And that's gotten us out of the cloud layer. And yeah, we are looking good out here. We'll put a little bit of power in so we can get our folks to their destination. And we were captured at 8,000 feet. That is good. So, really nice flight. Thanks for coming along tonight, everybody. This is our weeknight flights, where we have departed out of DCA. We had a small crash, if you want to call it that, on takeoff. It was quite embarrassing. The controllers watching. I'm sure they thought we were crazy. And yeah, we'll have to watch back what happened. So we picked ourselves back up. We are now flying into Charlottesville, and yeah, after that we'll figure out what the destination is next. I should have a better leg. My goal would be to have a better set of legs planned out in advance. I just find it hard to. Part of the hardest parts of this kind of IFR route planning is picking the airports to fly to, especially on VATSIM, because you're looking at the VAT map, your VAT spy map, and saying, oh well, they're online. How long are they going to be online for? Do I really want to fly in there? You know, do I want to depart out of a busy Atlanta? I don't know. So I want some way to take that control out of me and have maybe a better itinerary before I sit down to do it. Maybe that's the answer. Captain CYYZ says, nice stream so far. I'm thinking about picking up the Twin Otter. Is it worth the money? That's a good question. I really think that the Twin Otter's fun. But it's much more like a GA plane than, say, the CRJ. So if that's your jam, well, I think it's definitely worth it. I think my rule of thumb is if you like the routes that the Twin Otter flies, if you look at seaplane flying, if you look at this kind of lazy, slow commercial flying, if you look at cargo ops, if you like flying out in Alaska, if you like any of those things or all of them, I think Twin Otter will be a lot of fun for you. I think if you're looking for a big systems heavy airliner type thing, a light, it's not going to replace something like a Q400 in a lineup. It's not going to kind of stand in as a turboprop. It's not a turboprop CRJ, I guess is what I'm saying. It's gonna. It feels a lot more used like a GA airplane. I like that. I don't mind that, and I think it's fun even to fly on VATSIM like that because you just have to pay attention to the airplane. So yeah, I mean, I am pleased with it so far, and I paid the full $30 US, I believe. So I've enjoyed it. It's fun. It's a good model. It's not without its quirks, but it is. It's a nice panel, and it's just such a nice little airframe. It feels a lot littler than you think it does. I guess when I'm in the cockpit, that's the big thing for me. But you've actually got plenty of space back there, and all the doors open up. So it has to be good if the doors open, right? All right, we're about to hood now. We're going to start looking for our waypoints. We have Echius, something. A smart Charlottesvillian thing. And let's see where we need to be at those different places. The RNAV, Yankee Runway 1. Wito, so for whatever reason, Wito isn't coming through. But we do have Echius. 3,400 is going to be where we need to be. So we need to be there at 20 miles, 3,400. We're at 8,000 feet now, so 4,000 to go. So we got a little bit of time before we start descending, and we'll get into Charlottesville. Slendy, the plane was recently updated. I think the update came out yesterday, maybe 2 days ago. Not sure. I downloaded it yesterday. This is my first time flying it since the update. I think that the engine sounds are better. And it's captured the altitude and some of the autopilot stuff that issues we were having earlier. Anecdotally seemed to be fixed. It was always kind of hit or miss because it was just always kind of hit or miss whether you were going to have an issue or not. And especially when it was kind of flying really slow or really fast, you put in a lot of power, it would have issues. I haven't stress tested it. We've had enough issues on this stream so far. But we will, yeah, but so far so good. I think the sounds, especially when the engines start too. We haven't gone into reverse. That'll be the next test, because I thought the reversing sound was the one I really noticed being kind of whack. So what we're thinking about, we can program in 3,400 feet on our autopilot. And I'm trying my new Stream Deck autopilot. I haven't gotten it configured all the ways I need it. I really have it set up for autopilot and radios using the flight tracker plugin. And so far it's been really nice, especially for radios, because radios are just such a pain when you have to, on VATSIM, if you're taking off and you're trying to make a turn. I'm trying to not bust the restricted airspace at DCA, and I have to switch over to departure, which means looking down at the side console in the CRJ. So I'm trying to make all that a little bit better in flight. And autopilot's another one where you just get your head down and fumbling through something in a time when it's really not advantageous to be fumbling through a bunch of scroll wheels and controls. Not really sure what Musoj. I guess it's not taking us to Ekis, it's taking us straight to Musoj. But that's fine. That should work just fine for us. We will we'll begin our descent right about now. Program that in. I'm a little bit back in the power, not too much. I find that I tend to take too much power out in the Twin Otter on descent. So I'll put a program in a descent and then take out a lot of power, and then it'll slow down to 80 knots, and I'll be like, what's going on? Because it's got a lot of drag, so you're really pulling yourself along through the air. Unlike some other things where you could really kind of coast. You will lose speed if you turn off too quickly. Alright, we do have the mountains. We are still in nav mode. Just make sure we're not in heading mode for whatever reason. And we're just a little bit north and east of the field, which is going to be off to our left. We should make a left-hand turn here shortly, which will put us basically on the approach to runway 21. We can go ahead and make a traffic call. We are on 122.8. Charlottesville traffic. Twin Otter Appalachian 303 is descending to land runway 21. Well, we're on the RNAV 21 Yankee, descending through 6,200. Appalachian 303. Charlottesville traffic. Always tough not to say your call sign at the end. I don't know why. The 3,400. And here's Witto. Where ideally we'd be at 4,000. So let's just give it a touch more descent. As we come on in, I think we're a little closer than I'm thinking we are. And as this is coming in, Captain CYYZ, this is a good for cargo ops in North Canada / Alaska. I would say so. Washington Center is now open, of course, at the worst times as I'm on final to Charlottesville. We'll deal with that. Yes, I think so. You're not going to be limited by the area. So you're not going to be limited by icing, and it carries cargo in the back. I think that's really fun. And you get the ski version, the Antarctic versions, which are a lot of fun too. 3375. Nope. 13375. Okay. So right now, I think it's Captain CYYZ. It's only the GNS 530. You can't switch it out for something like the GTN 750. So yeah, you could always pop up the window, which isn't as satisfying. But and that, it'll run the auto off of that. But no, you can't plug it in like some of the other airplanes. I think they've discussed it coming in a future update, but I have not heard any more on that front. All right, we're on 113725. 72. One, 33725.
809 Washington Center, ident.
My squawk would have changed, so we're gonna squawk 2130.
Washington Center, good evening. Is Blue Streak 5161 flight heading by screen 6 the battery. I passing now flight level 6,000 feet with you.
American 809 radar contact 10 miles northeast of the Sands, correction, northwest of the Sands Hill VOR, flight level 370, welcome aboard.
Washington Center, Caravan 17 Zulu with you, though I am about 10-mile final from Richmond, ILS 2.
17 Zulu, standby. Blue Streak 5161 Washington Center, radar contact, climb maintain flight level 320.
Climb maintain flight level 320, Blue Streak 5161.
Alright, so we can keep
17 Zulu, you said you're straight in for what? I'm sorry?
4,500, 3,000 for the visual 19.
We can keep it coming down.
Caravan 17 Zulu, straight in for ILS 2 at Richmond.
17 Zulu, the wind 110 at 3, runway 2, clear to land.
Clear to land, 17 Zulu, thanks.
.com 543, do you have the river in sight?
Inside.
.com 543, clear for the river visual approach, runway 19.
Cleared for river visual 19, .com 543.
Washington Center, Appalachian 303. We are on 4-mile final for Charlottesville. RNAV runway 21.
Appalachian 303, Windcom, runway 21, clear to land.
Clear to land, runway 21, Appalachian 303.
Washington Center, good evening. Pilot Club 7 Romeo Papa is about 47 miles northeast of Gordonsville, flight level 380.
All right, so we're going to pull off the autopilot. We're a bit high.
Pilot Club 7 Romeo Papa, Washington Center, hello, cycle transponder squawk 0503, please.
0503, Pilot Club 7
down a
Romeo
little
Papa.
bit.
Such 224, radar contact 17 miles southwest of DuPont, VOR, flight level 300,
Bit high,
maintain, flight level 310,
okay.
please.
We are coming in, Washington Center, coming in hot.
Delta 221, radar contact, showing you 15 miles southwest of Smyrna VOR, flight level 280, maintain flight level 290.
I just got to get it down, get the speed down.
I'm in 290, Delta 221.
We are pretty high.
Delta 146, let's pick up our final limit.
It is funny. Controllers have a way of logging on when you're on just
Delta
on
146, say location.
310.
From the ground in Norfolk for Delta 146.
All right, let me get rid of
Delta
that.
146, clear center question number 1.
You said 2424 is at 310.
Jet to 224, I'm showing you at 300, sir. Check your altimeter, should be a standard.
All right.
Hey, Firma, wasn't it standard? Thank you for the notification.
Come see why he says he's
United
going to pick up Twin Otter.
46, radar contact 10
Thanks for
miles
sticking around,
south
man.
of the
Appreciate
Casanova
it.
VOR, flight level 200.
I think you'll enjoy it. It's a good fun
280.
plane. Good fun plane.
Level 280, United 2046.
Pilot Club 7, Romeo Papa, radar contact 15 miles southeast of the Casanova VOR, flight level 380. Welcome aboard.
All right, so we are now on final for runway 21. And we are coming into land.
.com 543, count at the tower. Good night.
Tower.com 543, see you.
Make sure our landing lights are on. Taxi lights are on. We'll just be all lit up as we come on. Now, of course, the other trick is to not get too slow in the Twin Otter if you can. So we're going to be shooting. We got full flaps out, so we're looking for 73
standby, I'll
knots.
call you back. Break Delta 146, cleared to Atlanta as filed. Climb maintain 5,000, expect flight level 360.
But we will try and...
Departures with me, 13372, squawk 0564.
We'll try and keep it down.
Clear to Atlanta, climb 5, expect 36 air and 10, departures with east, squawk 0564 for Delta 146.
Delta 146, readback is correct. Push start at your discretion. Call for taxi holding short of Charlie, runway 23 for departure.
We're still high on the poppies, but that's okay. There's 500 feet.
And 516, go ahead.
That's another thing they added was an inhibit switch for those call-outs, so that's kind of nice. I don't know where it is yet, but somewhere you can inhibit those calls. We got runway 21. Hey, we got it right. We got the right runway.
Delta 517, Washington.
And we are over the runway
Delta
now.
Squawk 0566, please.
It's kind of easy to flare too much at this point and stall out. And here we are. Let's just take it down now. A little bounce. Well, we can make the taxiway. Let's try reversing.
Delta 517, radar contact showing you 8 miles west of the Raleigh, VOR, flight level 340. Welcome aboard.
So those are the reversers.
Delta 221, descend
still a
via
little bit
the Corey 4
digital.
arrival, field altimeter 3029er.
Descending via the Corey 4 arrival. And one more time on the altimeter.
Field altimeter 3029er.
All right, so welcome to Charlottesville. We are going to taxi on up to the terminal right in front of us. We'll unload the passengers, and I think we'll make a turn. Washington Center's online, so we'll turn it around and head on back.
America 254, runway 23 right, taxi via Bravo.
Could we take 5L instead? I mean, that's the way we're facing. American 254.
254, no problem. 5 left to get via Bravo.
Taxi Bravo, American 254. Thank you.
All right, we are here at Charlottesville Airport.
Appalachia 303, welcome to Charlotte. Left when able, taxi ramp via pilot's discretion.
Taxi ramp via pilot's discretion, Appalachian 303. We're already at the ramp. It's okay. Okay, so we are here. Decent flight. Let's open the doors because, again, we can. Paid for all the animations. We're going to use all the animations.
DC Center, Pilot Club 426 at flight level 030.
Washington Center, Southwest 346 with you, pilot level 350.
All right, so we are here. I'm going to sort, I'm going to play around with the ATC audio a little bit because the center's coming in hot for me. Let's see. We're going to go into vPilot. Just hop off and knock them back down just a smidge. And we will connect back up as, we'll call it Appalachian 304. For the route back. So as far as flight planning, it's going to be very, very rigorous here. We are going to do...
Pilot Club 426, radar
Sim brief?
contact 8 miles west of the Elkin VOR, flight level 430, welcome.
304.
Pilot Club 426, thank you.
Alaska 6, Washington Center, cycle transponder, squawk 0532.
And then we're going to head to, we're at KCHO. We're going to head back to KDCA.
Center, good evening. Sirius 125.
Pittsburgh is not happening as an alternate. We'll keep IAD as the alternate.
Sirius 125, Sierra Hotel, Washington Center, hello. Cycle transponder, squawk 0501.
0501, Sierra Hotel.
Let's step
Southwest
outside.
346, radar contact 26 miles southwest of the Franklin VOR, flight level 350, welcome.
All right, so thanks for coming along today. We are going to turn off Washington Center for a second and get situated with our new flight plan. So we're going to be Appalachian 304 from Charlottesville to DCA. We'll have an alternate of Washington Dulles. That's KIAD. Hopefully we get better time on the way out. We're going to depart runway 21 because we did. We're going to arrive 19 because I'm assuming they're still going to be arriving 19. And it's given us HIGPO Type 3. So it's important to check those when you get those out of SimBrief. So Charlottesville has no departures, so we'll just add the airport chart to ChartFox, and then KDCA as we load in, and let's pull this up so y'all can see. So we got Charlottesville here. You've seen Charlottesville because we just flew in here. Now with DCA, if we are, we can always add that. Approaches It's saying the Tyke 3, and the keywords I'm looking for are turbojet only. So we don't have turboprop only, which is a good sign. Radar required. I don't know. We got RNAV, and props are turboprops only for DCA, which is where we're going. So that'll work. We will take Tyke to HIGPO, and that will take us into DCA. Hopefully, we'll see what Center has to say about that. Copy that, and let's generate the flight plan. And send it on in. So direct HIGPO to Tyke 3. And let's swap that around. We'll use IAD. Departure time, it is 1:37 Zulu, so we will say we're departing at 01:55. About an hour flight, 3 hours cruise speed of 140 knots. So we'll file that flight plan and up back on to Center. Audio, I'm just going to nerf them a little bit. So if you're just joining us, we are on the ground at Charlottesville. We are coming into... we're going to be taking back off to DCA the way we came, flying an American Eagle Twin Otter.
Descend via the Freedom 5, arrival, Washington's landing south, Washington Center 3030.
So we got this American Eagle livery off FlightSim.to. The liveries are coming in hot and fast now. Lots of good ones. There's a couple cool U.S. Navy ones. There's a couple Antarctic ones. All good stuff. So we're going to put our 19 passengers. We're going to be another full flight on the way back out. The last thing we're going to do is fuel up.
At altitude, American 254.
American 254, position checks, climb, maintain, flight level, stand by 1 second.
We can go ahead and go 50% for fuel, and we'll try to do the departure better this time. We'll put 300 pounds in the 7th row. And again, we're just going to be pretty close to max takeoff weight. You're still pretty, you're not hurting that heavy, but it is always good to keep in mind.
American 254, climb, maintain 14,000, proceed direct land ho.
Proceed direct to land ho and maintain 14,000, American 254.
All right, so I'm going to go top off and get a drink. And we'll turn around, take a listen to Washington Center, and we'll see if we get a lull and get our clearance.
Pilot Club 7 Romeo Papa, say Mach.
Mach point 82, Pilot Club 7 Romeo Papa.
Thank you. American 254, climb, maintain flight level 280. That'll be your cruise tonight.
Roger, up to 280, American 254.
Alaska 6, expect river visual approach, runway 19.
Visual approach, runway 19, Alaska 6.
Delta 146, holding short of Charlie, ready for taxi 23.
Delta 146, runway 23, taxi via Charlie.
23 via Charlie, Delta 146.
All right, welcome back, everybody. So let's restart our flows. Going back into our checklists. Before start, parking brake. Make sure that is set. We've pulled out. Emergency fuel, normal fuel selectors are normal. Radio masters are on. We're on battery power right now. I could probably call for ground power, but we're going to be off here soon.
Delta 221,
not a big deal.
Contact New York
Cabin
Center,
lights
12532,
are okay.
Over to New York, 2532.
Pitot heat. Make sure this stuff is off. Should have been done before we got down. Generators can come off as well for now. Flaps coming into the up position. Prop RPM, props full forward. Power levels are an idle. Ignition switch is normal. Go ahead and turn position lights on. Make sure we've loaded our payload. Fuel quantity. We're going to carry 50% fuel. We didn't use nearly that much going out. And then flight plan and nav data. I am not sure what they're going to give us, and it is not that much. So I'm just going to I'm just actually just going to clear all this out. Get ready for whatever they say. I mean, the one thing we can do to help ourselves, if we wanted to be forward thinkers, is add our departure and arrival. Add the ones we do know. So KDCA. And then I gotta add. I'm sure you get used to using your GNS 450. I just haven't used it as much. It's definitely not intended for as much of a heavy duty airliner turn situation.
Alaska 6 negative, river visual approach, runway 19er, 19er. Visual approach 19er for Alaska 6, thanks. And Alaska 6, give Potomac approach a call, 119.85. It's my good buddy ATM, Jared West. Say hello for me.
The... All right, so that's how not to use the 430. Well, we'll go ahead and call them up for clearance here in a second. And just making sure, let me get a new fresh sheet of paper. That is the biggest thing, I think, that helps you out in VATSIM, is fresh sheet of paper.
Washington Center, backup 7, Romeo Papa.
Level 10,000, 250 knots.
We'll let them sort themselves out.
American 562, Washington Center. Hello, welcome. Seven Romeo Papa. Go ahead with the traffic.
Yeah, I'm just going to step away for a moment.
Okay, sounds good. Report back, please.
Washington Center, Appalachian 304. We're type Twin Otter at Charlottesville, looking to pick up IFR clearance to DCA.
Appalachian 304. I actually just got my Potomac approach online, 119.85, and he'll help you out.
119.85 for Potomac approach. Thanks. Appalachian 304. Okay, so Potomac approach is going to be...
Ready to go to 3 and Alpha.
Delta 146, the WindCom, runway 23, clear for takeoff on departure, fly runway heading.
Runway heading 23, clear for takeoff, Delta 146.
So let's go into com 11985.
Center American 560, want us over to...
All right. Give it a second, see if anyone has something to say. Potomac approach, Appalachian 304. We're type Twin Otter at Charlottesville, looking to pick up IFR clearance to DCA.
Appalachian 304, Potomac departure, hello, cleared to the Washington National Airport as filed. Maintain 5,000, expect 10,000 in 5 minutes, squawk 2157.
All right, we're cleared to DCA as filed. We'll maintain 5,000, expecting 10,000 5 minutes after departure. And we're squawk 2157, Appalachian 304.
Appalachian 304, reback correct. Charlottesville, stand by for the act.
On approach, American 562, level.
All right, so we got 2157. We will turn that on.
562, Potomac approach, hello.
We'll go ahead and start firing up the engines here.
Appalachian 304, the wind at Charlottesville is calm. Expect runway 3 for departure and call for taxi.
All right, we'll expect runway 3 for departure. We'll call for taxi, Appalachian 304. All right.
562, expect the river visual runway 19.
So we are going to program in CHO. And then really we're just flying the arrival is what we're doing. So the procedures makes it easier on me. Select arrival. We're just doing the Tyke and our transition. I better look at this. Let's see what it says. We're going direct HIGPO Tyke 3. So let's see. Chart Fox. If we pull this up. Take 3, that's just a one-pager. So, yeah, I believe... Yeah, so I guess that's saying we're going to go direct to HIGPO. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we'll plug that in, and then they can tell us if we are doing it wrong. Direct HIGPO Type 3. Interesting. What is this saying? So that's HIGPO. That's top of climb. Yeah, I mean, it's really saying we're filing direct HIGPO Type 3. That's what I copied in, so I'm going to say none is my final answer. So this might actually be easier just to plug in flight plan-wise. You do kind of have that constant debate going in your head with this. It's like, would this be easier to do this way or this way? So we are direct HIGPO.
Alaska 6, cross Fergie at 3,000.
Fergie 3,000 left.
Enter. Done. Okay. So let's get our engine started. We're going to start right engine. Our forward pump's on. We'll light up good and good. Make sure our lights are on. And now we can give it some fuel. And once it pops back in, we'll do the left engine. Go ahead and close our doors as well. Okay. So we have our clearance received. Doors are closed. Engine start. We're going through that now. Our boost pumps are on. Come up to the top panel. We can go into left. And as we give it some gas, 250. We'll give it some fuel. Make sure those engines come on up. After start checklist, powers or levers or idle generators can go on. Okay, got suspiciously quiet there for a second.
American 562, descend to maintain 6,000.
I maintain 6,000, American 562.
Engine instruments are in limits. Everything is looking fine. We've got low RPM in the left engine. Yeah, it looks like a little bit lower in the left engine. Interesting. Our radios are tuned in. We've got Washington Center and Potomac Approach. I think we'll be with Potomac Approach. We will see how exactly that works out. Caution lights are set. Altimeter here at altimeter here at Charlottesville is 3025. So let's plug that in to 3025, and then checklist. Nav aids are programmed in. We've got really just going direct to HIGPO. And anti-collision lights and other lights are on. Before taxi, we just got to turn on our taxi lights when we were ready to taxi. Potomac departure, Appalachian 304, ready to taxi.
Appalachian 304, runway 3, taxi via Alpha, the Charlottesville altimeter 3025.
Taxi runway 3 via Alpha, altimeter 3025, Appalachian 304. All right, and we'll pull up the chart just to make sure there's no surprises. We're going to come out, and we're basically going to go off to. We'll back up. We'll probably reverse it back, and then go off to our left, so over our left shoulder. Let's take the parking brake off and just give it a little bit of reverse. That's probably good. We'll go forward. Now, out of DCA, we got a little bit rushed, so I did not get my run-up checks.
Ready speed to 210 knots or less, then descend and maintain 4,000.
We will arm auto feather.
Descend maintain 4,000 there, 560.
And then before takeoff checks as we're running, fuel is checked. We can set up our trim to takeoff. We can turn on taxi lights. Controls are free and working. Our nav and comm radios are set. We got Washington Center on this frequency. I will, we'll see if we just do DCA Tower instead. I would like DCA Tower somewhere. 119.1, so they're on comm 2 actually. So 119.1 for DCA Tower. Auto feather light is on. Flaps will go 2 ticks to get it into the 10 to 20.
Alaska 6, flight heading 150, report the Potomac River inside.
We really don't need it on this one, but pitot heat can come on. Anti-ice, we'll turn that on too, because we were flying really through clouds the whole time. I believe we filed at 10,000 feet, so we'll have to keep that this time. Transponder
flighting 330.
on and squawking.
330, man.
Once we get to the runway, we'll turn on our landing lights. We will set our heading in the runway direction.
Alaska 6, the river 12 to 1 o'clock and 4 miles.
We are climbing to 5,000 feet on departure.
Alaska 6, cleared river.
Caution lights are okay. We'll verify we're actually on runway 3, and we'll get takeoff clearance. We'll go ahead and put on stopwatch 2. Okay.
American 562, descend and maintain 3,000.
Maintain 3,000, American 562.
Appalachian 304 on departure, fly runway heading the wind calm, runway 3 clear for takeoff.
Fly runway heading on departure, cleared for takeoff, runway 3, Appalachian 304. We'll fly 3. We're a heading of 030. You want to be proper about it. We've run our takeoff checks. Heading is bugged. Down my pen so I can control. And we'll give it some power.
American 562, turn left heading 240, vectors final approach.
I'm setting about 40 inches of manifold pressure, or torque pressure, not manifold pressure, but...
Alaska 6, contact Washington Tower, 119.1, good landing.
That's 80 knots, so we can pull back and just float away from the runway. And we are away, so let's give it flaps up.
American 562 on the row, traffic will be 10 to 11 o'clock and 5 miles southeastbound at 3,000 over the river, 737.
After takeoff, flaps up, auto feather off.
American 562, follow the 737,
we'll
clear river visual, runway 19.
Landing lights can come off above 10,000 feet. We'll probably leave them on, and then we're climbing out. Yeah, probably about like this. Oops, I hit the trim button. It didn't like that.
American 562, you might need to fly slow to final approach speed. I'll show you have about a 50 knot gain on the preceding traffic.
Yeah, I'll slow down to 180 if that's good enough.
Works for me. You can just follow him visually.
Follow the visual, American 562.
Departure Appalachian 304, airborne, climbing through 2,100.
Appalachian 304, radar contact, climb and maintain 10,000.
Climb, maintain 10,000, Appalachian 304. All right, so we will punch in 10,000, or in English, 10,000 feet. And, yeah, okay, so we can get set up now. We're going to maintain runway heading, so let's put it in heading mode at 300. And if that all looks okay to us, we will go ahead and set a vertical speed mode. We'll climb out at 1,000 feet. Just try to make sure that it does what we think it's going to do. And then we'll really ramp it up. All right, so we are on our way back to Washington, D.C.
American 562, contact Washington Tower 119.1.
100.1, American 562, thanks.
Appalachian 304, if you pull up the RNAV, runway 19, you let me know when you have that pulled up and can navigate directly to Fergie.
Roger that, we'll advise. So we're looking for the RNAV, runway 19, which is what we're going to do. Counterclockwise. This is just a river visual RNAV. We've flown this before. If we pull this up, we're going to go to Fergie, the initial approach. Appalachian 304, we've got the RNAV runway 19 up. We can go to Fergie.
Appalachian 304, clear direct Fergie.
All right, we are clear direct Fergie, Appalachian 304. Okay, so direct Fergie. That makes it nice and easy.
Figured there's no reason to make you fly all the way south.
Yeah, probably not. So how to put this in is the good question here. Let's put in the approach. We're going to select the approach, which is going to be the RNAV runway 19. Fergie. Load. And let's make sure we got that in. So HIGPO, which is down there, we're going to go approach RNAV 119. Now, should we hit activate? That's a good question. I'm not familiar enough with the system to know whether we should hit activate or not. I am going to act like we should activate the approach. But that may be a massive mistake that screws everything up. We're going to go direct to Fergie. It doesn't like that. Okay. But we got time. We're climbing out. So, just try reselecting it. So direct to. I'm not getting it. So let's try Fergie and go all the way to activate. While I fight with this autopilot. And we're not, just to make sure, we're not on, yeah, that's fine. Okay, so we'll do this the hard and old-fashioned way. I imagine we'll probably be flying the river visual anyway. But this is the kind of thing that can be tricky on vets. So direct, and we want to plug it in here. F. So yeah, DCA would be, I don't know, if you do something like this first time out, DCA is probably a tougher one for a plane like this. Just because of this, the approach is fairly, well, it's important to get right. Otherwise you get laughed at. And we want Fergie with an I. And we want the K6. And from there, we're really banking on following the approach. So this has been an exciting way to stare at a screen or at a panel for a few minutes. Berg E with an I. And then we could probably put in the approach. And go on direct to Alright, so lots of fumbling, but at least we didn't crash. And look at that view. Isn't that nice? We are on our way. If you need more ambiance, let's throw... what's Washington Center going to be? 133725? We'll listen out Washington Center too. See what's going on. It's actually not too busy tonight. We're really one of the... there's a few flights coming in. There's a Challenger, or there's a private jet coming into IAD, A320 going to Asheville. I think there's an event in Asheville this evening, so you got a lot of airports down there lit up. Asheville is a fun one. Really nice approach.
Potomac approach, November Delta 160 is 14,000 feet.
At this point,
November Delta 160, Potomac approach, low. The Dulles altimeter is 3028. Expect
we'll put 1191 and stand
ILS
by.
runway 19 left.
And just make sure we capture the
All right,
altitude.
I'll expect ILS 19 left, November Delta 160.
And it's a nice enough day. Clouds are high enough we could fly, or visually if we need to. So not too worried about that. We are on our way, and we got a little snow out here, actually. Wasn't sure if they were getting snow in the valley. But it looks like it.
Appalachia 304, the Dulles altimeter is 3024.
3024 at Dulles, Appalachian 304, thanks. And we're at 3025, we'll go 3024. All right, so we're basically getting vectored, or we're going directly straight into the RNAV, which represents the river visual. We're going direct to Fergie, and then from Fergie we'll basically fly up the Potomac and descend into DCA to land runway 19, where we departed a couple hours ago. Out and back leg. I mean, the Twin Otter is good fun for these kinds of hour-long routes. I'm much longer, at least in VATSIM. You can, we're going 177 now, actually. We're making a good, decent clip. On the way down, we had a decent headwind, so we were not making great time. But now we're really cruising. And we should be out to Fergie in about 20 minutes. It'll take us down to DCA. Fuel's looking okay. We have 600 pounds in both tanks. Engines are looking okay. Yeah, prop RPMs are good. I'm going to come back off the max prop RPM just to get it into the green a little bit. As we cruise out here over northwestern Virginia. Heading into Washington National, we'll hopefully get to fly the river visual. We'll see. And hopefully we won't bust any airspaces and get laughed at. Now, exciting stuff coming up. There is definitely, I am a sucker for my DC events. We have, I believe, let me pull it up, Pat. We have a Dulles night, February 5th. Am I making that up? February 5th is going to be Never Dull at Dulles. That's basically Midnight Zulu to 0400 Zulu. Where, yeah, we'll have everything in Dulles. We can fly. A lot of fun. That'll be a good one. So, February 5th is Never Dull at Dulles. And then you keep on going. And, oh yeah, February 18th. That's a Friday. That is Northeast Corridor, DCA, JFK, and Boston for Friday Night Ops. So that could be good fun, too. We will, we'll see. That one might be a little crazy. But Dulles is always good fun. Yeah, looking ahead. Descent, we can check fuel. Caution lights are good. We got anti-ice on. We're just about near these clouds. I'm going to check and make sure our windshield ice is still on, too. It is. We have seatbelt signs on. No smoking is on. We're not going to really take that off for a flight like this. There's nowhere they need to go. Landing lights. We are going to leave them on for now. And the arrival is pretty simple. We're direct Fergie. And from Fergie, we can talk through the chart real quick. From Fergie, we're going to, basically, that's the initial approach fix out here. Fergie, we go Derrick to Grays to Seatock, Fonvie, Jubal. All these basically follows Path of Potomac. It follows the river visual. So if you want to fly, we'll add this. But really, we'll be flying this too. Same thing. It's just, we'll be using this basically to tell where we need to be altitude-wise. River visual, we'll hit it around Fergie, out here, out by the American Legion Bridge, and then kind of come on down towards DCA. So some cool fun, and looking ahead, we got World Update 8, or is it 7? I think it's World Update 7. We got Australia coming up next, so that should be fun. We might do some Australian flights. Flying out in the outback, another Twin Otter kind of destination that could be good fun. And not as much CRJ. I don't think there are any CRJs out there.
November Delta 160, descend via the Hyper 8 arrival.
Australia, could be fun.
Runway 19 left transition.
And then, I mean, the big one, 737, hopefully. PMDG sometime this year would be nice.
Okay, Hyper 8 arrival
That's
for
what I'm excited
160.
for. But until then, we're going to keep flying CRJ.
What was the transition on that?
Doing some other stuff. Trying to find some fun routes to fly.
It'll be the runway 19 left transition.
Hyper arrival via 19 left transition, November Delta 160. Thanks.
It's a little awkward, but we're not actually flying to Fergie. We're on a heading select mode. That's okay. I was wondering what was going on. We're basically, you kind of zone out a little bit. Dulles is coming up kind of off our nose, which isn't really what's supposed to happen. Yeah, but my magenta line isn't very good down here, so we'll let the Twin Otter, we'll take the scenic route, get the people their money's worth. But that's what happens when you're fumbling around with the with your flight plans. So, and the more you practice it, the better you'll get at it. I mean, it's not an overnight thing in any plane, but especially a plane like this where it's a little bit more involved.
Appalachian 304, fly heading 070, descend and maintain 8,000, vector's final approach course. You can expect the river visual runway 19.
Flight heading 070, we'll expect the river visual. Was there an altitude in there?
Yeah, descend and maintain 7,000.
All right, we'll descend and maintain 7,000, Appalachian 304. All right, so we're well off course, and that's okay. We'll go down to 7,000 feet. Luckily, in a Twin Otter, we're not going that fast. We're not going to get that far, so it's all right. Go ahead and punch in a descent to 7,000 feet and get our vectors to our final approach course. We're going to expect river visual, which basically means we'll just be trying to hit our altitudes. I'm hoping the Twin Otter is fun to fly on the river visual. Haven't tried it yet. But that's definitely a good one to have the charts for. We can go ahead and prepare ourselves by getting our DCA VOR pin tuned in, 110. 111.0. 111.0. And then we can use that to just tell how far away we are. My swap key isn't working. 119.1. And then 070 is what they said, so let's turn left heading 070 in heading mode while I tune out. So thanks y'all for coming along on a short, kind of quiet commuter hop here on Thursday night for our weeknight flights. We're now heading 7,000. We'll be down at 3,000 at Fergie. And then at Chainbridge, we'll be at 1,800 feet. And then basically passing the reservoir with glitch, we'll go down to 1,500. Then across Keybridge, 900. And then we're really on final, passing the other two bridges. Come back just a smidge on the power. We're going nice and fast, 202 knots, making a good clip. So descent checks fuel quantity. We got fuel in the tanks. We've got still about 600 pounds. Caution lights are appropriate. Anti-ice is on, which is as required. Altimeter 3024 is what we got at Dulles. Seatbelt signs are on, landing lights are on, and we've briefed the arrival. So approach, we're not going to use, we've tuned the nav aid, which is going to be the DCA VOR. We'll set power as required, and flaps 10-20 below 93 knots, and then 30 to 40 on final. That'll put our VREF around 73 knots. And we're going 070. We're expecting vectors to our final approach fix. Probably because I'm so far off. That's in about 30 miles. So I'm, probably even a little low. But that's fine. I asked him for an altitude and I wasn't fishing. I thought there was a third piece of information that I didn't hear. And right off our nose is IAD. That's Washington Dulles International Airport. One of the few sceneries I do have, I think I have the Flight Beam IAD. It's pretty good. I like it. One of those I fly out of fairly frequently. And then IAD is a big one. Once you see it, usually in a big jet, you're getting close to turning into Fergie. Most of the arrivals for 19 will take you kind of over this area. We'll just kind of crawl by it relatively. So let's see, do we have anything else coming into DCA? In the airspace right now, we have TPC-69, which is an A320 going to Asheville from Boston. We have a private jet at 10,000 going into Washington Dulles. And that's, I think, about it. There's a JetBlue out over the coast of New Jersey, A321. That's JetBlue 1385, coming in from JFK. And that is, yeah, that's really kind of it at this point. What's going into DCA. So we'll probably have to run out of the place. Grounded tower still showing online as we come on down. And we're holding 7,000 feet. All right. Thanks for coming along tonight, everybody. We should be on the ground in a good 10-15 minutes. We're crossing IAD. The Potomac is going to be off our nose, basically to our right, out there, just a little bit further. We'll make a right-hand turn to that, and then we're river visual. Clouds are just a little low. I mean, it won't be down at 3,000 feet, but if we were much higher, we would kind of be in the soup. And Washington Dulles over there. We're just crossing over it. Let's see, anyone departing? It does not look like it. Yeah, because those don't have aircraft types, so. So all told, pretty quiet. But we do have good controller coverage, which is always nice. And yeah, I need to figure out a system for figuring out which ones to... really where to fly, which legs to fly. Sneaky Pete asks which server I am on. I'm on the VATSIM network right now, so we're flying on VATSIM, not on any of the Microsoft Flight Simulator servers. On VATSIM just over IAD. And we've got a message from DCA Approach. 11985. Oh, I'm on 1191. Oops. That's not going to work.
Southwest 549, Potomac approach, low to Washington, altimeter 3028. How you doing, Zach?
Repeat your altimeter, Southwest 549.
3028.
Good evening, Jared, Southwest 549.
Potomac approach, Appalachian 304. We're back with you. Hit a wrong button somewhere.
Appalachian 304, roger. Descend and maintain 4,000 and turn left 10 degrees, vector's final approach course.
Turn left, turn left 10 degrees, and then descend 4,000 feet, Appalachian 304. Alright, so we'll go down to 4,000. I was sitting on tower because that's going to do us a lot of good. You're like, oh, it's awfully quiet. Well, you're on DC tower. So always good. To double check your frequencies. And this is all kind of teething. We're working on the new, working on my new Stream Deck setup. So, what happened was, basically I was adjusting the nav radio, but there's a toggle button, which is supposed to toggle the nav, but it actually toggles the comm radio. So instead I tabbed it out into DC tower. And because DC tower is 119.1, looking at it, I didn't see that, because you're like, oh, I'm still on 119, it must be good. But 119.1 approaches 119.85. So we will descend down to 8,000 or 4,000 feet. We're coming up on the river just about now, so we'll start throttling back as well. Just get ready for our ascent.
Appalachian 304, descend and maintain 3,000.
Descend and maintain 3,000, Appalachian 304. We'll punch it down to 3,000, and we will dive, crash dive, 3,000. No, you don't do that, but we will do just about everything we can to get down. Sitting here pontificating. And I mean, really, basically, I'm going to hand flight in, because I don't know. I don't know how much I trust the autopilot in this situation. It should be fine, but we'll hand fly it. It's good for you.
Appalachian 304, the Potomac River is 1 to 2 o'clock and 9 miles. Report when you have it in sight.
We got the river in sight, Appalachian 304.
Appalachian 304, cleared river visual, runway 19 approach.
Cleared river visual, runway 19 approach, Appalachian 304. Alright, we are cleared on the river visual. So we will make, once we get up to the river, we'll make a right-hand turn. And we can go back onto nav. And we'll go down to 3,000 feet. And then once it takes me back over to Fergie, which it ought to, but it's turning past it just a smidge. Yeah, alright, I'm taking it. My airplane. So we will go ahead and get on to the river visual. And we're going to be... I'm not going to put out flaps just yet. We're going to hold it at 120 knots or so. Not that there's anyone coming in behind us, really. But someone foreseeably could be. And those poor big jets would be really hard-pressed to stay behind us at 120. So it's just kind of good practice. We'll stay at 3,000. And let me pull up the chart real quick as we begin our final approach into Washington Reagan National Airport. DCA, we're flying the river visual runway 19 live, which is always a risky combination.
November Delta 160, the Dulles wind 190 at 9er, runway 19 left, cleared to land.
Clear to land, 19 left, thanks. November Delta 160.
Too many 9ers.
Oops, I'm going the wrong way. Let's turn the right way. River visual, we're still actually a ways up. I'm not sure what the...
Southwest 549, contact Potomac approach 119.7, good landing.
19.7, navigator, Southwest 549.
Not really sure what the autopilot's doing. This is going to be, yeah, truly a river visual. Truly a river visual here. But you can see the Washington Monument off in the distance. We're just a touch, we're a skosh low for not having passed the Legion Bridge yet.
Appalachian 304, contact Washington Tower 119.1.
Going to Tower 119.1. Thanks, Appalachian 304. Washington Tower, Appalachian 304, river visual, runway 19.
Appalachian 304, Washington Tower, hello, wind 180 at 9er, runway 19er, clear to land.
Clear to land, runway 19, Appalachian 304. All right, so we are crossing over Fergie now, which we're a little low, actually, 2,300. We really should be at 3,000, but it's all right. We need to be at 1,800 at the Chain Bridge, so we just passed American Legion Bridge. And up to the Chain Bridge, I'm going to jump up a little bit just so I can see. I need my altimeter and my attitude indicator. We want to be 1,800 at Chain Bridge, and that's 6 miles from DCA. So we're 10 miles out now. 6 miles we're going to shoot for around 1,800 feet. And the other thing, I just want to kind of fix the trim. While we're kind of here before the fun really starts and we start flying past the prohibited airspaces. And let's just get, well, this is one of the more fun visual approaches. It is really scenic. It's really good. One of my favorites. And we're flying up the river. And there's the reservoir. That's the other visual reference that we can use past Chain Bridge, which is kind of just after that. The river narrows a little bit there. Chain Bridge is 1,800 feet. The reservoir we're going to want to be at 1,500 feet. And then the last, well, not the last bridge, Key Bridge is 900 feet past that. That's DCA DME 3. We'll just start coming down. Looks like in the update they reversed the trim axis back, which had bothered me, but I had it figured out so that it was right. Now we are flying relatively a little maneuverable plane, so hopefully that helps us stay on the right side of the law here. On approach into DCA. We're at 1,800, just a smidge early. So we will hold it up. And without anyone really on final now, we can go ahead and go our first notch of approach flaps. I'm not feeling very coordinated, but that's okay. Now we're crossing Chain Bridge now. We've got the reservoir next up. 1,500 feet, and after some of the fast jets, this comes kind of in slow motion. Which is a little bit nice. It's just all about, really now, finding a good attitude for the nose. And then the big thing as we're coming down over that island is just staying to the right. Just stay to the right of the island, or kind of on the right-hand side of the island. On the left bank is the prohibited airspace, P-56A. And we'll keep coming back off the throttle, just so I don't break anything. And keep it down 100 feet. Unfortunately, the reservoir tends to glitch out like this. We're at 14,000 feet, so just hold it up. And then the next one is going to be the Key Bridge, DME 3, 9 miles. We're at DME 5 now, so. We will continue to follow the river. And thanks for coming along. If you are have been with us, we are on final approach into Washington Reagan National Airport here in DCA. We flew out from here to Charlottesville and back on a nice little commuter hop, so it was good fun. Charlottesville, smaller, one runway airport. But not too small. I mean, it's got an ILS. It's got an RNAV approach, so it's not tiny. You could definitely fly something like a CRJ in. if you were so inclined. All right, so we're going to get it into the white and just give it a couple more flaps as we're coming in. So here's the critical one. If you keep trying straight, you're going to bust the P-56, so let's keep it to the right here, and we're at 1,000 feet. We want to be at about 900 feet. So yeah, keep it on the right-hand side. As long as we're over the island here, we're fine. And then we've got Roosevelt Bridge, Memorial Bridge, and Rochambeau Bridge. And then you make the nice right-hand turn onto the final for the runway. And we're getting slow, so it's going to take quite a bit of power just to keep us going in full flap configuration. So we will just keep doggy paddling up the Potomac. But it is kind of nice. I mean, you have some time to think and get where you need to. An approach like this, I mean, this is how you should practice it, probably, just slower. A Twin Otter might be a good practice approach for this. Just because coming at 140 knots even is kind of a big jump. Whereas we're coming in here really 90 knots, maybe. And I'm pushing it a little bit. I got a lot of throttle in. We really kind of want... The airplane kind of wants to be down at 800. Or at 80 knots. We're descending now through 8,000 feet. Poppies are saying we're a little high. And by a little high, I mean a lot of high, but that's fine. Twin Otter, I generally find myself coming in a bit high. It seems. It seems that's my pattern with the Twin Otter. It's easy to get high, but again, you've got such a short landing distance, and you can really bleed speed well. It's not a huge problem if you do find yourself high. So, like, I'm seeing 4 white, but I'm not really panicking because we can get down just fine with a judicious application of the throttle. All right, we're making the final approach turn. We're making the final turn onto runway 19, and again, this would be a great time not to fall out of the sky, so just keep some power in. I got to keep one eye on the speed. We're down below 80 knots now. Luckily, it's not busy, otherwise we'd be holding up a lot of people. But hey, they used to fly turboprops out of here. And we're still high, but it's all right. It's going to look a lot better in just a second. The big thing is not to just pull back on the nose. I feel like I want to pull back on the nose quite a bit at this point in the flight. And especially at this altitude, 200 feet, that's a good way to stall out and really bust up the landing gear pretty good.
50, 40, 30, 20.
All right, there we go. We're going to come on down to idle and just kiss it onto the ground. And in fact, I'm not going to... I haven't braked.
Appalachia 304, welcome to Washington. Right, when able, contact ground 121.7.
We will go to ground 121.7, Appalachian 304. Uh-oh. All right, we have vacated the runway here. Landing lights can come off, and we will go to ground. What did they say? 1217. Washington ground, Appalachian 304, vacated runway 19. Washington ground. Am I on Washington ground? 121.7, 121.7, 121.7.
American 365, crossing runway 15 at Juliet on the air side, contact tower 119.1.
921 on the other side, cross 15 at Juliet, American 365.
Washington ground, Appalachian 304, we vacated runway 19er.
Appalachian 304, Washington ground, good evening, say parking.
We can taxi down to the 1 through 9 gates.
Appalachian 304, you can taxi to 1 through 9 gates via Juliet, Golf, Kilo. Have a great night.
We'll go to the gates via Juliet, Golf, Kilo. Thanks, Appalachian 304. All right, so let's taxi on in. Welcome to Washington, DCA, everybody. we are going to, I should look at the taxi diagram before I go, but we're going to go off on Juliet, which is here, or off on, yeah, Juliet. And then once we hit Golf, we're going to go over to Kilo, which is the taxiway that jet, that poorly model-matched jet, is pushing back onto. And I don't believe we have any runway crossings. We're just going to go out to the back corner of DCA, because there isn't really a good parking spot for us here. This is the Drzecki Designs DCA scenery. Another one of the few I have. This one's really good. I like it. I'm not usually a huge scenery guy. Like, I don't get sceneries for everything I fly unless they're freeware. But, like, the airports I fly a lot, like DCA, it is nice to have. So, Juliet, and then we got to keep an eye out for Golf, which ought to be past him here. So this is Golf right here. So Juliet, and then we will hit Golf.
Anti-control aircraft on frequency, watch to ground, we closing up here in about 3 to 5 minutes.
All right, ground's going offline. So we made it just in time. So I do have some work to do on the model matching. We will. I'll try and work on that before we do the DCA. I think we'll probably try and do the IAD event. We might live stream that. I might make it a different kind of video. We will see. And then now we're on Kilo, and then once we see kind of the island come out, we will go over there. Sneaky Pete says, "Hope to see you doing more of these. Thanks for the video." Thanks, Sneaky Pete. Thanks for coming along. I appreciate it. It's been fun. We did have a bit of a rocky start. We had a crash on takeoff, which was suboptimal, but I think we turned it into a pretty good night. So it has been fun. Thanks for coming along, everybody. If you have been watching, yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it's just good. I like to. It just helps me.
Air Jamaica 1, ready to taxi 19.
IFR.
Air Jamaica 1, runway 19, taxi via Kilo.
Help me do more
one,
IFR
Juliet.
flying. That maybe I wouldn't if I was just cranking out other videos.
Kilo 1, Juliet, Air Jamaica 1.
We'll just taxi on up here. At this gate, back here, and park it on up. Alright, so we will get up and park. Let's park in the actual follow the lines. And yeah, there we go. Parking brake on. We can kill the boost pumps. And we can kill fuel. Well, feather props first. Let's feather the props. Let's be good sim pilots. Feather the props, and we'll cut fuel. All right, thanks for coming along, everybody. We are going to, let's get the door up. And yeah, we will get our passengers off and on their way here in the capital of the United States. Thank you, Clayton. I'm glad you could catch a little too. Thanks for coming along, everybody. It's been a lot of fun. And thanks for joining us for our weeknight flights. This has been VFR. As always, take it easy, y'all.
American 2120.
Yep, American 2120 here.
American 2120, contact Tower 119.1